A groundbreaking sci-fi star, a sitcom scene stealer, the first Black movie star, these actors and more took their final bows in 2022. Paul Sorvino worked in character roles and on the New York stage throughout the 1960s and 1970s, earning a Tony nomination for his work in That Championship season on Broadway in 1973. Sorvino reprised his role as Phil Romano in the 1982 film version of That Championship season, his mainstream screen acting breakthrough. In 1990, Sorvino would land back-to-back roles in major movies which would amount to his signature work, gangster Lips Manless in the big screen adaptation of Dick Tracy, and as the paternal calculating mob boss Paulie Cicero in the crime saga Goodfellas. In addition to criminals, Sorvino played a lot of authority figures like Sergeant Phil Soretta early in the run of Law & Order, Juliet's father in Baz Luhrmann's Romeo and Juliet, and Henry Kissinger in Oliver Stone's Nixon. Sorvino died on July 25, 2022. According to the actor's publicist, natural causes were to blame. Sorvino was 83. Nichelle Nichols had many roles in a career that spanned more than 60 years, beginning with an appearance as a dancer in the 1959 movie musical Porgy and Bess. Of course, she's best known for a character she played on one of the most influential and enduringly popular sci-fi TV shows ever made. From 1966 to 1969, Nichols portrayed Lieutenant Nyota Uhura on the original Star Trek, reprising the role in an animated Star Trek series, 6 movies, and numerous shorts and video games. According to Variety, Nichols considered leaving Star Trek after its first season for a stage career, but she was convinced to stay by Martin Luther King, who told the actor that it was important for the civil rights movement for a Black woman to be on television in such a prominent role. A sci-fi icon, Nichols worked extensively over the decades in similarly speculative shows, including Futurama and Heroes. Nichols' business partner confirmed the actor's death to media outlets. Nichols died on July 30, 2022 in Silver City, New Mexico at the age of 89. Before she was an actor, England-born but Australia-raised, Olivia Newton-John was primarily known as a singer. In the early 1970s, her smooth and twangy sound made her one of the few non-Americans to find success in country music. She ascended the pop and adult contemporary charts too, with hits like I Honestly Love You. And the movie business made good use of Newton-John's talents. She starred as Sandy in the blockbuster film adaptation of the Broadway musical Grease, as well as in the original movie musical Xanadu, with both films serving as major vehicles for Newton-John. After scoring the #1 hit of 1982 with her song Physical, Newton-John focused more on acting. She reunited with her Grease co-star John Travolta for the supernatural rom-com Two of a Kind, then turned in various cameos in the 90s and beyond. Her most recent role was co-starring as herself in the very excellent Mr. Dundee, reflecting on the Australian cultural craze she helped start. Newton-John's husband, John Easterling, announced on Facebook that the actor had died at home in Southern California on August 8, 2022. A source told TMZ that the cause of death was breast cancer, a disease with which Newton-John coped for 3 decades. She was 73. After a long stint on the soap Another World, Heche made a big impression in the indie hit Walking and Talking, and then majorly broke out starring in Donnie Brasco, Volcano, I Know What You Did Last Summer, and Wag the Dog, all in 1997. Then Heche headlined the adventure comedy 6 Days, 7 Nights and Gus Van Sant's Psycho remake, ultimately settling into a career as a TV performer, turning in memorable arcs on shows like Hung and Chicago PD, just to name a few. Heche could have probably been more famous and prominent were it not for 90s-era anti-LGBT sentiment. While competing on Dancing with the Stars, Heche revealed that her 3 years-plus romantic partnership with Ellen DeGeneres lost her work.
I got kicked out of my own movie premiere because they didn't want to get pictures of me with a woman.
In early August 2022, Heche was driving erratically through Venice Beach, California, and crashed her car at a high speed into a home. Heche fell into a coma and was in critical condition until August 11th when she was declared legally dead over an insurmountable brain injury and kept on life support only until her organs could be donated. Heche was 53. Louise Fletcher's screen career reaches back to the 1950s and encompasses more than 130 roles. But she's probably best known for playing one of the most memorable and terrifying movie villains of all time, Nurse Ratched in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. This landmark film won 5 Academy Awards in 1976, including Best Actress for Fletcher. She also captured a Golden Globe and a BAFTA for her performance. Fletcher settled into a wide variety of work after One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, including Invaders from Mars and Flowers in the Attic. Though few of these films hit the heights of One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, Fletcher ended up finding impressive success on the small screen in the last few decades of her life. Her performance as villainous cult leader Kywin Adami on Star Trek Deep Space Nine and Emmy-nominated turn as music teacher Ava Garrison on Joan of Arcadia were particular highlights. Fletcher's agent, David Shaw, reported to Deadline that the actor died in her sleep at her home in France on September 23, 2022, at the age of 88. To put it simply, Angela Lansbury was an icon. Lansbury was born in London and made her first screen appearance at age 19 in the 1943 psychological drama Gaslight.
I want to know whether it was you who took the picture down.
Of course it wasn't, sir. What would I want to take it down for?
The world soon took notice. She snagged Academy Award nominations for that performance and the one she delivered in The Picture of Dorian Gray 1 year later. Lansbury received another Oscar nom for portraying a villainous mother in the trippy political thriller The Manchurian Candidate. This is arguably her most notable film work, not counting her turns in the Disney classics Bedknobs and Broomsticks and Beauty and the Beast. Concurrent with her film and TV work, Lansbury frequently appeared on the stage, starring in major Broadway productions like The King and I, Sweeney Todd, and Mame. She picked up 6 Tony Awards along the way. But Lansbury's most unforgettable work arrived in 1984 when she began playing amateur sleuth Jessica Fletcher on the smash hit TV series Murder, She Wrote. This performance earned Lansbury an astonishing 12 consecutive Emmy Award nominations.
Well, my name is Jessica Fletcher. I'm very anxious.
Jessica Fletcher, the author Jessica Fletcher.
Well, yes.
Lansbury died in her sleep on October 11, 2022, 5 days before her 97th birthday. In the 1990s and beyond, Leslie Jordan frequently appeared in short stints and supporting roles on numerous TV comedies, almost always playing a heightened, scene-stealing version of himself. A sitcom pro, Jordan was a regular on The Cool Kids and Call Me Kat, and injected comedy into multiple installments of Ryan Murphy's American Horror Story. Of course, he's probably best known for his signature role, that of socialite Beverly Leslie, both rival and friend to Karen Walker on Will and Grace.
The very idea makes me howl with manly laughter.
During the coronavirus pandemic lockdowns, Leslie became an online sensation for his sweet, silly, and revelatory Instagram videos, which sent his follower count into the multi-millions. According to TMZ, Jordan was driving through Hollywood on the morning of October 24, 2022, when he experienced a sudden medical issue that caused him to crash his car into a building. Jordan was pronounced dead at the age of 67. Kevin Conroy was a member of an ultra-exclusive club, one of a handful of people to portray Batman on screen. And to many, he was the best actor to ever portray the Dark Knight, seeing as how his deep-voiced, understated, and unique take on the character would help create a whole new line of moody, introspective, highly dramatic projects about Gotham's tormented crime fighter.
I am Batman!
Conroy first voiced Batman and Bruce Wayne in Fox's acclaimed Batman the Animated Series in the 1990s. The cartoon led to the big screen Batman Mask of the Phantasm and a slew of direct-to-video projects. Conroy would further voice Batman in several related video game titles and even portrayed him in a live-action gig in a 2019 episode of Batwoman. Conroy had more than 100 credits to his name, most of them voice acting, after launching his career in the 1980s. According to Variety, Conroy died on November 10, 2022, shortly after receiving a cancer diagnosis. The actor was 66. Jason David Frank was a 90s icon, endearing himself to a generation of fans as Tommy Oliver, aka the Green Ranger. The character first appeared in Season 1 of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers during the 5-part episode Green with Evil. Originally, Tommy was a bad guy, enchanted by Rita Repulsa to do her bidding and destroy the Power Rangers, but thanks to the Red Ranger, Tommy was eventually freed from his curse and joined the teenage team of martial arts heroes, although his rebellious nature often led him to clash with his colleagues. Frank's character was one of the most popular in Power Rangers history, with Tommy eventually donning the mythical suit of the White Ranger. Outside of the flagship TV show, he would reprise the role of Tommy Oliver in multiple films and Power Rangers series. In addition to his TV gig, Frank absolutely loved martial arts. He started training in karate at the age of 4, and when he was older, he had a short but successful MMA career, winning 3 amateur fights and 1 professional bout. He also started his own dojo near Houston, Texas, which he named Rising Sun Karate. Tragically, Jason David Frank died by suicide on November 19, 2022 at the age of 49. He is survived by his 4 children. Kirstie Alley died at the age of 71 in December 2022. The cause of death was cancer, which, as her children explained in a statement, had only been recently discovered. However, Alley leaves behind quite the impressive filmography. She starred alongside John Travolta in the Look Who's Talking series, where they played the parents of a baby whose inner monologue sounds a lot like the voice of Bruce Willis. Star Trek fans remember her fondly as Spock's protege in 1982's Wrath of Caan, and 90s kids who loved Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen movies will definitely recall her from It Takes Two. She was the lead of her own sitcom, NBC's Veronica's Closet, and if you're a fan of reality TV, Alley made her mark there as well, dancing her way across The Masked Singer and Dancing with the Stars. Of course, the role that Alley will be best remembered for is Rebecca Howe in Cheers. She joined the sitcom after the departure of Shelley Long. Those were some big shoes to fill, and Alley did an incredible job, even winning an Emmy for her performance in the show. Cheers co-star Ted Danson mourned her loss, telling the Los Angeles Times, "I am so sad and so grateful for all the times she made me laugh. I send my love to her children. As they well know, their mother had a heart of gold. I will miss her." John Travolta also mourned her passing, posting on Instagram, "Kirstie was one of the most special relationships I've ever had. I love you, Kirstie. I know we will see each other again." Iconic singer and actor Meat Loaf, who won a Grammy for his hit ballad "I'd Do Anything for Love, But I Won't Do That," and appeared in films like The Rocky Horror Picture Show and Fight Club, died in January 2022. His manager confirmed the news to the New York Times, but did not immediately reveal the cause of death. He was 74. Born Marvin Lee Aday, the Dallas native adopted his childhood nickname as a stage name early in his career. He got his big break when he auditioned for the off-Broadway musical More Than You Deserve in the early 70s. He won a role and formed a lifelong partnership with writer Jim Steinman, who would go on to pen Meat Loaf's debut album, 1977's Bat Out of Hell. Todd Rundgren produced the record, and everyone from the New York Philharmonic to members of the E Street Band contributed. It was an unlikely hit that critics begrudgingly praised, though Meat Loaf would struggle to replicate its success in the years that followed. After a few flops, he dropped 1993's Bat Out of Hell 2, Back Into Hell, which included his Grammy-winning single. In terms of films, Meat Loaf is best known for playing Eddie, the delivery boy, in 1975's The Rocky Horror Picture Show, and former bodybuilder Bob Paulson in 1999's Fight Club. Other notable credits include 1992's Wayne's World, 2001's The 51st State, and Ghost Wars, on which he recurred between 2017 and 2018. Comedian and actor Bob Saget, best known for his long stint on the sitcom Full House, died in January 2022 in his hotel room. There was no evidence of drug use or foul play, according to Chief Medical Examiner Joshua Stephanie. He was 65. His wife, Kelly Rizzo Saget, said in a statement per Variety, "I am so completely shattered and in disbelief." Saget made his TV debut as Bob the Comic in a 1981 episode of the Tom Hanks sitcom Bosom Buddies. In 1987, he won the part of Danny Tanner on Full House, which became a career-defining role. Saget played the widowed father of three from 1987 to 1995 and reprised the role in the Netflix-produced sequel series Fuller House.
Well, just remember, when children seem the least lovable, it means they need love the most.
It was often hectic on set, but Saget had fond memories of working with his on-screen kids. The actor told Vanity Fair in 2014, "Jodie Sweetin was 4 when she started. Ashley and Mary-Kate were 9 months. Candace was 9. You're talking about exceptionally talented young kids." Elsewhere, Saget was known as the voice of the older Ted Mosby on How I Met Your Mother, and as the host of America's Funniest Home Videos, which he fronted for almost a decade. French actor Gaspard Ulliel was best known to international audiences for his turn as the young Hannibal Lecter. Sadly, he died due to a skiing accident in January 2022, as reported by Deadline. He was 37. Ulliel began his career on French television in the late 1990s and was landing film roles by the early 2000s. His big break arrived in 2004 when he landed the part of Manek in A Very Long Engagement. Ulliel won his first Caesar Award for this movie and would make the transition to Hollywood soon after, playing the titular killer in the 2007 prequel film Hannibal Rising. It was one of his biggest roles at the time of his death, but the actor was also about to make his debut as a Marvel villain. Sadly, Ulliel died a few months before Marvel's Moon Knight dropped. He plays Anton Mogart, aka Midnight Man, a black market antiquities dealer who goes head-to-head with the titular hero. Emmy winner Louie Anderson, who appeared in films like Ferris Bueller's Day Off and Coming to America, died of complications from cancer in January 2022. His publicist confirmed to CNN. He was 68. Tributes from across the entertainment world poured in after the news broke. Screenwriter Carl Kurlander wrote in a Deadline tribute piece, "I was one of the lucky ones who got to call Louie a friend. He made me and others in his orbit feel like family." Anderson decided to give stand-up a go after his colleagues dared him to go on stage. The audience loved him, and it wasn't long before he was making his mark in the comedy world. Anderson's talent and career were multifaceted. He was as comfortable in front of a crowd as he was fronting game shows. Indeed, he would become a fixture on American TV screens as the host of Family Feud from 1999 to 2002. Anderson plied his trade on shows like Grace Under Fire, Touched by an Angel, Chicago Hope, and Scrubs, but some of his best work came in the twilight of his career. Anderson was nominated for Emmys 3 years running for his performance on the Zach Galifianakis-led FX comedy Baskets, winning in 2016.
Oh, presents! Unnecessary.
Hollywood legend Sidney Poitier, widely seen as the first black movie star, died in January 2022 at the age of 94, as confirmed by the New York Times. Barack Obama said in a tweet, "Through his groundbreaking roles and singular talent, Sidney Poitier epitomized dignity and grace, revealing the power of movies to bring us closer together." Denzel Washington said of him in an interview with People, "He was a gentle man and opened doors for all of us that had been closed for years." Poitier earned his first credited film role, Dr. Luther Brooks, in 1950's No Way Out. He actively avoided demeaning roles, and by the end of the decade, his persistence began paying off. He became the first black man to be nominated for the Academy Award for Best Actor in 1959, blowing critics away with his turn as an escaped prisoner in The Defiant Ones. He missed out on that occasion, but would make history a few years later when he became the first black man to win that award for his performance as a traveling laborer in 1963's Lilies of the Field. How did Poitier feel about opening so many doors for black actors and artists everywhere? He once told Oprah Winfrey, "It's been an enormous responsibility, and I accepted it, and I lived in a way that showed how I respected that responsibility. I had to." Up-and-coming actor Moses J. Moseley was found dead in Georgia in January 2022. His agent, Tabitha Minshew, told The Hollywood Reporter, "Moses was a very talented person with a bright light around him. He will be missed deeply by his friends, family, and fans. Always a ball of happy energy around him." The cause of death was not immediately revealed by authorities, who launched an investigation to determine the circumstances. He was 31. A native of South Carolina, Moseley studied at Georgia State University before settling down in Atlanta. According to The Hollywood Reporter, he worked as a model before transitioning into acting. Moseley's first credited role was playing Michonne's pet walker, Mike, on The Walking Dead in 2012. He would appear on the hit AMC show half a dozen times over the next few years. Moseley went on to play TikTok on USA Network's Queen of the South, and Usher on HBO's critically acclaimed Watchmen series, and Kadeem on Irv Gotti's Tales. His most notable feature film was 2017's Attack of the Southern Fried Zombies, in which he played Robbie. Moseley had several projects in various stages of production when he was reported missing by his family, including Hank and Cadillac Respect. Academy Award winner William Hurt, who owned the 80s with hits like The Big Chill and Gorky Park, died in March 2022. The actor was 71 years old, and as his son Will said in a statement via Variety, he died peacefully among family of natural causes. Although not initially publicly confirmed, we now know that Hurt died from complications of prostate cancer. He was first diagnosed in 2018. Hurt left behind a major cinematic legacy. Born in Washington, D.C., Hurt studied theology at Tufts before finding his passion in acting. The actor made his debut film performance with Altered States, a psychedelic trip that mixes mushrooms, religious imagery, and body horror. He followed that up with the sexy noir flick Body Heat, the film that propelled him to stardom. After that, Hurt won a Best Actor Oscar for his portrayal of gay prisoner Luis Molina in Kiss of the Spider-Woman. It was just the first of 4 times he'd be up for an Oscar, with the Academy nominating his work for Children of a Lesser God, Broadcast News, and A History of Violence. Fans will also recognize Hurt from projects like The Village and AI Artificial Intelligence. Of course, the man also left his stamp on the superhero genre by playing Thaddeus Ross, the MCU antagonist who pursued Bruce Banner and Natasha Romanoff. Estelle Harris came to fame as an actor well into adulthood, most familiar to TV audiences as Estelle Costanza, the combative, shrill-voiced mother of George Costanza on the mega-popular 90s sitcom Seinfeld.
Oh, I can't believe it, Frank! Come here!
Harris appeared in nearly 30 episodes of the series. She also used that distinctive angry voice in a number of other projects post-Seinfeld, including the Toy Story movies as Mrs. Potato Head, Brother Bear, Teacher's Pet, and Futurama. But Harris was much more than an argumentative, uniquely voiced maternal figure. She had more than 100 acting credits to her name, all of them coming in her late 40s and beyond. Harris started her acting career in community theater, regional theater, and summer stock before segueing into TV with appearances in commercials. According to CNN, she once appeared in 25 nationally broadcast ads in 1 year. According to a statement from Harris's son Glenn via agent Michael Eisenstadt, Estelle Harris died on April 2, 2022. A cause of death was not provided. The actor was 93. Never a leading man and almost always a supporting character in broad comedies and family movies, Gilbert Gottfried became a household name because of his public and on-screen persona. It's hard not to forget that perpetually irate, squinting, malcontent, screaming his thoughts in a shrill, scratchy, overblown New York accent.
I can't believe it! I just don't believe it!
After a major breakthrough as a member of the cast of Saturday Night Live in the early 1980s, Gottfried became a fixture in 80s and 90s movies, oft-rerun cultural touchstones for kids and teens who grew up in that era. He played Sidney Bernstein in Beverly Hills Cop 2, Mr. Peabody in all 3 Problem Child movies, and voiced Iago in Aladdin. He also voiced the Aflac duck in a long-running series of insurance commercials. That's to say nothing of his dozens of other appearances in TV shows and movies, making use of his purposely annoying all-purpose characterization. Gottfried was also a relentlessly performing stand-up comedian, and a dark and twisted one favored by other knock-around comics, as evidenced by his appearances on Comedy Central's series of celebrity roasts. On April 12, 2022, Gottfried's Twitter account broke the news that the actor and comedian had died, following an unspecified long illness. Gottfried was 67. Mike Hagerty was among the most prolific and recognizable character actors of the last 40 years, popping up in more than 100 movies and TV shows. He usually played a gruff blue-collar working man type with a big mustache and pronounced Chicagoan accent. Among Hagerty's most familiar roles, there's Davey, a cable TV station employee in Wayne's World, and apartment building superintendent Mr. Trieger on Friends, who becomes Joey's ballroom dance partner. He also played best friend of the main character in the original Overboard, an auto shop owner on Lucky Louie, and a main cast role on The George Carlin Show. Hagerty recently played a captain on multiple episodes of Brooklyn Nine-Nine, appeared on Shameless, and played Farmer Ed Miller on Somebody Somewhere. On her Instagram page, Somebody Somewhere star Bridget Everett reported that Hagerty had died on May 5, 2022 in Los Angeles. A cause of death was later revealed to be a seizure as a result of an adverse reaction to antibiotics. He was 67 years old. One of the finest and most recognizable actors of his era, Ray Liotta alternated between rugged leading man roles and quirky character actor parts, usually playing tough guys, criminals, and intimidating figures, as well as frequently sending up his public image as a man of simmering, unhinged intensity.
Who you think you're talking to?
Liotta was a prolific actor, appearing in more than 100 movies and TV shows since the 1980s. He broke out in a big way with back-to-back roles as the ghost of Shoeless Joe Jackson in 1989's Field of Dreams and real-life mafia big shot Henry Hill in Goodfellas, Martin Scorsese's classic crime epic that would earn 6 Oscar nominations. That film solidified Liotta's specialty of playing men just barely on one side of the law or the other, similar to his performances in Something Wild, Copland, Unlawful Entry, Narc, Observe and Report, Shades of Blues, and The Many Saints of Newark. According to Deadline, Liotta was in the Dominican Republic in May 2022, filming the movie Dangerous Waters when he died in his sleep. He was 67. In a career spanning more than 200 roles back to the early 1970s, Philip Baker Hall became a quintessential character actor. He's probably best known to audiences as Lieutenant Joe Bookman, a library cop tenaciously investigating Jerry Seinfeld for a decades overdue book on the comedian's titular show. You'll also likely recognize him as the intimidating but secretly sweet neighbor Walt on Modern Family, Dr. Morrison on Curb Your Enthusiasm, and Hippo game show host Hank Hippopopoulos on BoJack Horseman. Writer-director Paul Thomas Anderson also cast Hall in prominent roles in his first 3 features, Hard 8, Boogie Nights, and Magnolia. According to Hall's daughter via The Hollywood Reporter, the actor died at home in Glendale, California on June 12, 2022. Hall was 90 years old. A chameleonic and frequently employed character actor, Joe Turkel racked up a whopping 142 screen credits over a career that spanned from the late 1940s to the 1990s. Of course, he's most closely associated with the films of Stanley Kubrick, who cast the actor in 3 films. Turkel starred in The Killing and Paths of Glory, but he's most famous for his appearance in The Shining, where he played the creepy ghost hotel bartender, Lloyd. Turkel was virtually retired by the 1980s when Ridley Scott hired him to play replicant maker Dr. Eldon Tyrell in the 1982 sci-fi classic Blade Runner. Other than those major film works, Turkel was a constant presence over decades of television, with one-shot roles on dozens of memorable shows, including Miami Vice, Fantasy Island, Kojak, The Andy Griffith Show, Bonanza, Ironside, and Combat. According to Variety, Turkel died in a Santa Monica, California hospital on June 27, 2022. He was 94. One of the best and most definitive actors of his generation, James Caan starred in some of the most highly regarded films of the latter half of the 20th century. Usually playing tough guys, criminals, intimidating dudes, macho men, and inscrutable patriarchs, Caan paid his dues on 1960s TV dramas like Naked City, The Untouchables, and Wagon Train. Moving into different roles in the early 1970s, Caan starred as the title character in the adaptation of John Updike's Rabbit Run and played real-life football player Brian Piccolo in the acclaimed made-for-TV tearjerker Brian Song.
Hey, sounds like a ball.
He found probably his most iconic role ever as Sonny Corleone in The Godfather, for which he received an Oscar nomination. Later in his career, Caan would land memorable starring roles in Alien Nation, Misery, Honeymoon in Vegas, and Elf, and joined the frothy NBC drama Las Vegas. Sadly, on July 7, 2022, Caan's family announced on Twitter that the actor died the previous evening. He was 82. Tony Sirico found the role of his life as Peter Paul Gualtieri, aka Paulie Walnuts, on HBO's universally acclaimed modern-day mafia saga, The Sopranos. An explosive, funny, and loyal lieutenant to mob boss Tony Soprano, Sirico provided comic relief as Paulie Walnuts, offering up terse one-liners and amusing mispronunciations.
What do you hear? What do you say?
He played similar characters in Goodfellas, Bullets Over Broadway, and Mighty Aphrodite. In recent years, and after The Sopranos ended, Sirico traded on his image and tendency to be typecast, playing tough characters on comedy shows like a gangster on American Dad and a gruff dog on Family Guy. Sirico's manager confirmed to media outlets that the actor died on Friday, July 8, 2022. He was 79. Actor Dale Critchlow, who was best known for playing Lyle the Farmer in the offbeat cult classic Napoleon Dynamite, died in February 2022 as reported by Deadline. He was 92. A native of Utah who moved to Idaho in his 30s, Critchlow landed his small but memorable role by pure chance. The film was shot on location in Idaho, where Critchlow lived and worked as a real farmer. He needed help with his animals one day, so his wife reached out to the mother of writer-director Jared Hess. He told East Idaho News, "My wife called Jared Hess's mother and asked if one of her boys was there. He came over and he had a friend with him. I drove the truck out into the pasture and the sheep came over. They grabbed those bucks and pushed them into the truck. And then later he came back and said, 'I want you to be in my movie.'" Critchlow became well known in his hometown of Preston after the film became a success and was always happy to pose for pictures. He went on to feature in another comedy, 2006's Church Ball, which was considerably less successful, but Critchlow remained famous for his turn in Napoleon Dynamite, despite not being overly keen on the film. He said in 2020,
"I thought it was kind of funny in places, and in a few places it was kind of dragged out, but..."
Other celebrities lost this year: Nehemiah Persoff, Peter Robbins, Liz Sheridan, Robert Morse, Fred Ward, Larry Storch, Gregory Itzin,